Okay, can you two stop being impressed by him? It's a fluke. He's mean.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things on Grey's Anatomy that make no sense.
Okay, you should know you're starting to scare me.
Don't be scared. Everything's going to be fine.
Why'd you do it? I don't have to explain myself. Just tell me.
That. Right there. Is that VFib? Is that a rhythm?
For this list, we'll be looking at every time things got a little, shall we say, unbelievable for our favorite doctors at Grey Sloan Memorial. We'll be discussing plot details, so beware of spoilers. If we missed any of your favorite wild moments, let us know in the comments. Number 10, the surgeons do everything. If we're to take Grey's Anatomy at face value, surgeons have to be experts at everything, and we mean everything. Of course, a surgeon has to be extremely smart, but this show often leaves the impression that highly qualified surgeons are the only doctors hanging around Seattle Grace. Not only do they do surgery, they run blood tests, check vitals, and stay in seemingly constant communication with their patients, which is less true to life than you might like to think.
Fine, you go ahead.
In the real world, most of what we see our favorite residents and attendings handling would be done by nurses. But apparently, there aren't a ton of those at Grey Sloan. We guess they all went on strike?
I think the nurses know that we are on their side. Don't they? Well, we're doctors.
Number 9, random interns. This beloved show started out with our OG 5, Meredith, Christina, Alex, Izzy, and George.
Your first shift starts now and lasts 48 hours. Your interns, grunts, nobodies, bottom of the surgical food chain.
We've cried and laughed with them throughout the years, following their trials and tribulations in a loyal manner. But that's more than we can say for 95% of the other interns that come through.
I have 5 rules. Memorize them. Rule number 1, don't bother sucking up. I already hate you. That's not going to change.
Sure, we care about Lexi, Joe, and a handful of others, but you'd be hard-pressed to even remember most of all the others. Since some of them stick around, it's a little strange that so many show up for a few episodes and then dip. Where did they go? There's got to be some Grey Sloan ex-intern support group we don't know about.
And they're all in the top 10% of their programs.
So they're completely socially inept.
Probably.
Number 8, DeLuca's recovery time. Say what you want about Alex Karev. The man certainly packs quite a punch. So much so that when he beat the snot out of Andrew DeLuca for a misunderstanding involving Joe, Alex's girlfriend at the time, the doctors thought DeLuca might lose his vision.
Has he been conscious?
He was on intake, but we had to tube him. What's it look like? His head CT's clear, but he does have an 8-ball hyphema.
Luckily, it wasn't as bad as all that. In fact, it wasn't as bad as anything. When Alex initially goes to visit DeLuca in the hospital, his face is completely bandaged and busted up in a really brutal manner.
Get away from me. No, go away. Get out of here.
Aim to my head. That's all you on top of it.
Somebody. Help.
I'm sorry.
But just a few episodes later, DeLuca and his perfectly handsome face seem fine. Maybe a little emotionally scarred, but physically just fine. What's your secret, DeLuca? We must know.
I'm glad you're okay, and I'm really sorry. Are you serious?
Number 7, helping their own. Being a surgeon is no picnic. Time and time again, we've watched the surgeons on Grey's Anatomy have to call death after devastating death. But having seen so many of them, we've noticed they tend to give one group of people a little more time for a miracle than others. The doctors at Grey Sloan are always getting hurt, and therefore always seem to be operating on each other. And the doctors just seem to try a little bit harder when it's one of their own.
Can you help? It's Dr. Gray. She's in surgery and she's in bad shape.
Dr. Gray is very capable. She'll figure it out.
She's not operating. She's the one on the table.
When April gets in an accident in season 14, the team spends hours trying to stabilize her. Yet we've seen them call other patients in 20 minutes or less.
Stop! Enough, all right? Stop, please.
Jackson, please let go of her. Please, come on. Look at me. Just hold on. I know. We can't stop.
Seems a bit unfair. Number 6, bomb in the chest. How could we forget the iconic bazooka in the chest episodes of Grey's Anatomy?
Oh my God. Dr. Milton.
What? What's wrong?
Hannah, I don't want you to move. Not your hand, not your body, not an inch.
It's genuinely thrilling and scary, and one of the series' best, but we have a few questions. It's pretty impressive that Meredith survived this one, seeing as she has her hand inside a man's chest to keep a bomb from exploding. But how in the world did the guy with a literal bomb in his open chest survive it?
Yo, my guys talked to the friend. That device is homemade, which means it's unstable and very unreliable. Could be a dud, but we have no way of knowing. Add to that the fact that you've got a surgeon in the OR next door refusing to leave and a nervous paramedic's hand inside the body cavity.
It's definitely as bad as it seems.
Not only is there, a bomb in his chest, but he spends most of this 2-episode arc unconscious on a table with his chest open. It doesn't feel plausible at all, but it sure does make for good TV.
You almost died today.
Yeah. I almost died today.
Number 5, Meredith not drowning. The ferry crash episode of Grey's Anatomy is one of the most intense in the series' history for many reasons.
I believe that it's been a hell of a year. And I believe that in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary, we will all be okay.
But most fans probably remember it best for Meredith's near drowning, or if we're being completely accurate here, her dying and coming back to life moment. When Derek finally pulls Meredith from the water, she's been under for what seems like a pretty long time. When she arrives at the hospital, the other doctors have a hard time regulating her body temperature, and she eventually awakes in a type of limbo.
She's freaking out.
She's not freaking out.
People tend to freak out.
Trust me, she's fine.
Oh, okay, mister, I've been dead longer and knows everything.
In the end, it seems Meredith rejoins the land of the living simply because she chooses to. But after all her body's been through at that point, that's a very hard sell.
Thank you for not dying.
Number 4, career trajectories. Making your way from intern to head of surgery takes a long time. 12 seasons, in fact. Or at least, that's how long it takes Meredith Grey.
Put it away.
You're like a rock star of the clinical variety.
Please put it away.
Seems plausible to us, but other career timelines on the show are not so consistent. Take, for example, Meredith's half-sister Maggie. We're told that Maggie is a bit of a child prodigy, making her way through college and medical school faster than most.
Biomarkers?
What?
Ellis, the question, was it about biomarkers?
You're a genius.
Yeah, it's in our DNA.
When she shows up at Grey Sloan, she interviewed for the head of cardiothoracic position. Pretty impressive, but the show really isn't clear about where she was an intern or a resident, or if that's even something she had to go through at all.
I can't really remember ever not wanting to be a doctor. I knew at age 12 that I wanted to be a surgeon. By 14 that it was cardio.
Wow, born to be a surgeon.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about a genetic component.
Number 3, Ghost Denny. You've had regular sex, but have you tried ghost sex? No? That's fine, it would probably be weird. It definitely was in season 5 of Grey's Anatomy when Izzy's long-dead fiancé suddenly appeared to her and started following her around. Denny was a fan favorite but had died in season 2. We'd seen him pull something similar to this before. He visited Meredith when she was in limbo after drowning, but this was something different.
See? I told you I was real.
Not only was Izzy alive, but she appeared to really be able to interact with Denny. And we mean in the biblical sense. Ultimately, Denny was just there to deliver news of Izzy's cancer, but we'll never forget just how weird this sequence was.
There'll always be surgeries. There won't always be fiancés who come back from the dead.
Good point.
Number 2, all the doctor deaths. Just based on this list alone, it might seem like Meredith is the only doctor at Grey Sloan who's had an unusually high number of near-death experiences.
You can't work on your family. Everybody in this damn room is her family.
But the doctors at this hospital don't just have to deal with death in the form of their many patients. They have to deal with it from each other, too. It seems like doctors are just dropping like flies, and usually in a quite gruesome fashion.
Who's George?
What?
John Doe, the guy who threw me out of the way of the bus, the guy who saved my life. Everyone's crying, and they keep saying, John Doe is George. Who's George?
Whether it's George getting hit by a bus or Lexi's plane crash, these docs just don't have a good track record. We realize this probably has more to do with actors wanting to move on from the show than anything else, but it still makes us sad.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Alex going back to Izzy. Alex and Izzy were fan favorites from day one. They both had other great relationships that were important to them, but when they finally got together for good, it felt like a long time coming.
What? Some things simply speak for themselves.
But after recovering from cancer, Izzy gets fired for making a mistake at work and leaves Alex because she believes he snitched on her.
I don't know if she's coming back.
What do you mean she left? Where did she go?
This effectively ends Izzy's time on the show for many years, until out of nowhere in season 16, she comes back. Turns out Izzy had twins, and they were Alex's. So despite the fact that Alex had moved on with Joe and was happy for the first time in years, he just left her.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to end this. I don't want to. Goodbye.
Make it make sense. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.